And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello, I'm Susie Ross. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. This week, we're visiting some of this year's Regional Environmental Stewardship Award winners. Let's take a look.
In Northwest Pennsylvania, you'll find Paul and Beth Wingard working together. With a little help from their grandchildren now and then, they run a 125-acre intensively managed grazing operation focused on a unique corner of the cattle business.
What we produce is a product that is used by 4-H and FFA kids in projects for showing cattle. These are show calves. And the reason they get the name club calf is because 4-H clubs and the calves kind of go together.
Most steers that win at steer shows are crossbred cattle, so that's what our cattle are mostly. Most have some Maine Anjou and Angus in them, and also sometimes some Shorthorn, Simmental, or Chianina, and ours are kind of a combination of that.
Beth works closely with her young customers, and many Sunrise Club calves have gone on to become grand champion steers. Perhaps more impressive is the care the Wingards have given their land. Since they bought this farm back in 1978, they've made one improvement after another.
One of our most beneficial things we did is one year there was a program out through NRCS for emergency water during a drought year. And at that point we were able to put a water system in that gives us water in every paddock, and that definitely improves the grazing a lot because the cows don't have to travel to water and they graze the pastures more evenly.
Their farm now includes 4 ponds built over the years with help from the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service.
These are all utilized for watering to these cattle one way or another. We don't let the cows in the ponds. We use ways of extraction of water out of the ponds to the embankments to feed our water system.
Obviously, to rotate the animals around the various pastures, you have to have water to accommodate them. They were the first in the county to put in one of these rubber tire water troughs.
Those water tanks are low cost because they reuse old rubber tires that would otherwise go to waste. In addition, Paul and Beth have worked to maximize their forage production through the use of management-intensive grazing.
We move the cows usually once a day, but that varies with weather conditions and such. But that's the general goal. Our paddocks are about 3-acre paddocks. There's 70 cow-calf pairs and about 6 or 8 yearlings, and they get a new pasture each day.
To enhance their grazing system and further protect their resources during the muddy winter season, the Wingards have added a heavy-use feeding area, and they've worked with NRCS to fence cattle out of streams and create stabilized stream crossings.
And what we're using, these are hog slats from the bottom of slotted floors in hog barns, only we're using them here to make a stabilized crossing. And you can run equipment, we can move cattle and so on back and forth across here, and yet you can see the water itself stays very clean, clear, and it's just been a great story, I guess, of stewardship on the land by the Wingards and working with NRCS and the other partners.
With all the practices they've implemented, the Wingards often host pasture walks and grazing groups to share ideas.
We've done a lot here with Paul and Beth as far as sending people here to see what they're doing. It's really a unique situation where they're so willing to share and to transfer that knowledge to other people.
It's a learning experience, and I think that's the reason we have it. It's a good turnout in this every time we have one of these meetings.
The sign at the entrance to Sunrise Club calves says visitors always welcome. That commitment to sharing with others the story of cattle on the land is part of the legacy Paul and Beth Wingard are building together.
I think that probably what I'm most proud of is that everything works together. The cattle are productive and look good and do well. The grass is productive and does well. The wildlife areas and such are working, and it's just a good feeling when the whole system comes together.
I think we should be good stewards of our land. They're not going to make any more of this. I think we should leave it better than we found it.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain mineral special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
2 100% pure USDA inspected patties are only the beginning of what make the Big Mac famous, and that's what we're made of.
Visit the 10,000-acre Dee River Ranch in west central Alabama, and you'll find a diverse family operation. Annie Dee and her brother Mike work the ranch together with help from Annie's son Seth, her husband Ed, and their crew. Their livelihood depends on the care they give their 650 cows and their 3,500 acres of cropland.
We run a commercial cow-calf operation. We have Brahma Angus cross cattle. We have some purebred Brahmas that we use for seed stock.
We get along great and we complement each other in the things that we do. We're trying to do a great job. We're trying to improve all the time. We try to work with people that'll help us improve.
Dee River Ranch was founded in Florida, but with development pressure there, the family sold the original ranch to the state of Florida as part of the Save the Rivers program. Then they moved to Alabama to create the current operation in 1989.
This is home. I love it. I don't care if I ever live anywhere else. I like to travel, but this is where I want to be and where I want to spend the rest of my life. It's just the neatest place I've ever been.
To have the opportunity to work with my sister, we're committed to each other. We're committed to this land and to the farm, and it's neat to know that when I'm out there working hard, I can turn around and somebody's working just as hard as I am.
Though drought is a problem now, under normal rainfall, the Dee River Ranch is at risk for erosion. So the Dees have taken steps to save the soil and protect water resources. They've worked with NRCS to help improve their grazing management and to install GPS systems for precision agriculture.
As a matter of fact, last year they had the annual Precision Ag Field Day here on Dee Farm. And we brought a lot of folks in to look at what's being done out here with new technology.
The way I like to look at them is they're kind of like point farmers. People point to them for their ideas and what they're doing. And each year we usually have a field day here. Last year we had one that had over 300 people attend. And I think many of these people just wanted to see what Annie and Mike were doing because they are innovative.
Dee River Ranch has been very cooperative in sharing their production techniques and ideas with area ranchers. And the things that are successful here translates to other areas of the county and the state too.
For land the cattle are on, the Dees have added high traffic and heavy use areas to avoid mud and erosion.
We've come back in and put erosion control geotextile fabric, and then we've put large stone to hold that fabric down and then small stone to make it conducive for cattle to walk across that and make it easier for them. And that's been able to help us move cattle through those high traffic areas and congregation areas.
To protect their most fragile lands, the Dees placed 4,000 acres in the Conservation Reserve Program, planting 600 of those acres to trees.
Traditionally, I'm not a tree hugger, but I think I am a great steward of the land, and I'm trying to protect what we have and protect the land and the water, keep it from eroding away.
NRCS has been able to come in and help us do some things that we know is the right way to manage this land, to give us some guidance and some assistance in doing some things to protect these fragile areas.
Their CRP land has enhanced habitat for wildlife, including white-tailed deer and other species. The Dees are also cooperating with the University of Alabama's Rural Medical Scholars Program, bringing doctors in training to the ranch to gain an understanding of agriculture.
I like to show them the combine and the sprayer and the cattle operation and just give them a feel for things that are going on, so if somebody shows up at their office and they've had an accident, they have a little bit of understanding about how that could happen.
With the stewardship of Annie and Mike Dee, the land under their care is healthier, their cattle herd is growing, and their effort to make Dee River Ranch a sustainable operation for the future is on track.
Dee River Ranch is my life. The crops, the cattle, the land, they're not just a job to us, it's our life. We're not trying to look at how this crop's going to come out. We're going to look at how we can make the next 10 crops, or how we can live here, and how our cattle operation is going to grow. I wake up every morning thinking, thank the Lord that I can get up and go to work.
We want to make sure that the place is better than we got it, and we leave it better than we found it. We know we don't really own this land. We just get to be here for a period of time, and we're interested in the water and the soil, the land. We want to make sure that the next folks have a better opportunity even than we have.
Out here, you do a job right, then you move on. And when the job is fast treatment of shipping fever, Baytril 100 is how you do it. It's designed specifically for first-line treatment of bovine respiratory disease, for use by or on the order of a licensed veterinarian. Extra label use in food-producing animals is prohibited. Ask your veterinarian for more information. When the job is killing BRD fast, choose Baytril 100. Right the first time.
Rush to read. The 2008 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show. For fun, for education, for new ideas. For more information, visit beefusa.org.
Oak Knoll Ranch, located on the rolling hills of south central Missouri, is home to Leon and Helen Chrysler. Married more than 50 years, they're equally dedicated to caring for their land and cattle.
Our operation here is a two-person operation. It's me and my wife, and I couldn't get along without her, and I don't know if she could get along without me, but it works out fine for us.
I enjoy it. I enjoy being outside because I'm outside about 95% of the time with Leon now. It takes both of us to keep this place moving, and as you can see, you know, all the work doesn't get done by itself or by me watching the soaps.
Leon and Helen started Oak Knoll Ranch in 1985 after years spent in other careers. Now their days are busy tending a 100-cow commercial Angus herd and backgrounding their calves. You wouldn't know it today, but they began on land that had been poorly cared for. Over the years, they've transformed the operation, which now includes 480 acres of timber and grassland.
A good operation works hand in hand with stewardship and good conservation, because you really can't have one without the other, I don't believe.
We set goals of what we wanted to accomplish, and it surprised us a little bit. We were able to reach our goals a little faster than maybe we even thought.
Those goals included increasing cattle numbers without increasing acres, and while reducing fertilizer and feed inputs. One key to reaching these goals was a switch to management-intensive grazing that began in 1991.
It's smart management. You just don't turn your cattle in on a piece of ground and leave it till it's all gone. You try to management to get maximum growth and maximum nutritional value out of that piece of forage, which is much better for the land, much better for the cattle, much better for the wildlife in the area. That's what management-intensive grazing is.
And over time, through management-intensive grazing, improving the diversity, and improving the whole system, we've seen a big increase in the productivity of the land, in the fertility, and in the aesthetic quality of his place.
Working closely with NRCS to develop, monitor, and refine their rotational grazing system, Leon and Helen have also added ponds, tire tank waterers, and a long list of other improvements.
We've developed fencing such that we can manage forage in a much better way. We developed the water system so that the cattle don't have to walk long ways to the water, and that's much better for them. And we've fenced the cattle out of the timbers, which improves the timber stand, and also gives us a better distribution of our manure in the fields rather than in the timber.
The other thing is fencing out and saving the trees that we have and the area for the wildlife that we have around here, and then fencing out the ponds where We leave it for the wildlife.
With natural beauty and a thriving cattle herd, Oak Knoll Ranch today is more than just a well-run operation. It's also a place where others come to learn about how this form of grazing operation works.
For a number of years, this was the private farm that we went on to show management intensive grazing in the real world, not just in a research setting, but out here some producers actually doing it.
From cutting hay to caring for their cattle, Leon and Helen provide all of the labor on the operation, and they've demonstrated that two determined people working together can create a sustainable cattle operation that keeps stewardship top of mind.
I personally think that people can accomplish anything if they really want to do it. You know, you have to want to do something.
We both agree that we want to leave this land in better shape than when we found it. And I'm really appreciative I've got the time and the good Lord has given us the ability to be together and given us these resources that we can work with.
Each year, the Environmental Stewardship Award program recognizes the outstanding stewardship practices and conservation achievements of U.S. cattle producers. At NCBA's summer conference in Denver, Colorado, this year's regional winners were honored. The farmers and ranchers hail from the states of Pennsylvania, Alabama, Missouri, Oregon, California, and Kansas. The ESAP program chair says this year's winners are an outstanding group.
So these regional and national winners are the pool that we will draw from throughout the country to help tell that story.
In the coming weeks on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll highlight this year's regional ESAP winners and the practices that have made their operations so unique. The National ESAP Award winner will be announced at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention, which is taking place in Reno, Nevada this coming February. Farmers and ranchers across the country know the importance of finding supplemental income to help during tough times. Cattlemen to Cattlemen's Kevin Ochsner caught up with Texas A&M professor and Extension wildlife specialist Dale Rollins, who has tips on what cattlemen can do to find unique ways to turn a profit on their land.
I have the good pleasure of working with landowners to improve wildlife habitat across the western half of Texas. That may be, they may see that wildlife as something for their personal use, for their family's recreation, or they may see that as an economic asset to where they sell trespass rights to hunters. I would say, at least in West Texas, probably 70 to 80% of the range-based livestock producers, range-based ranchers in Texas, probably have some kind of hunting lease. That's probably double from what it was 15 or 20 years ago, and that just illustrates the economic demand for hunting-based recreation. And the first thing I ask them is, are you a people person? Because if you're not willing to work with people, and many ranchers are not, I mean, they didn't get in the ranching industry because they love to talk to people. A lot of times they're recluses, and they're not interested in dealing with the public. So if you're not interested in dealing with the public, a wildlife-based recreation enterprise is probably not for you. But if you're willing to work with the public and learn to handle people and the relative situations or toils that they can provide, the returns can be quite lucrative.
Rollins says it's important to approach a recreational hunting lease like a business.
I think the skill set that a landowner needs to at least try to develop as they contemplate a wildlife-based enterprise deals with three aspects of marketing that I've been told are: number one, know your product; number two, know your customer; and number three, close the deal.
And don't forget to look out for your best interests.
So craft you a good written hunting lease agreement, and there are resources available to you that'll help you with that. So think about that, knowing your product, knowing your customer, and closing the deal, and becoming a student of that, and you can get to where you want to be.
Dr. Rollins also recommends doing your homework when considering a recreational hunting lease to make sure you know the going rate for the type of services you're offering.
Our quarter pounder with cheese is made from 100% pure USDA beef. That means there's 0% anything else. That's what we're made of.
More time on the job means more work gets done. And when the job's all about keeping your herd healthy and productive, remember, only BovaShield Gold FP helps provide a full year's fetal protection against BVD persistent infections and IBR abortions. Why risk using anything less? Ask your veterinarian or animal health supplier about BovaShield Gold.
Agriculture is a small portion of the population now, and if we're not working together, we're not going to get anywhere.
As our family, we cannot be in Washington, D.C. all the time, and I just couldn't live without NCBA representing.
They're looking out for our interests. They're there fighting for us every day.
If you got 1 cow or 2 cows or 100 cows, you need to be a member.
I'm a member of the NCBA because a long time ago, 35 years ago, I felt that I needed to know more of what my industry is doing. So I got started at the county level. If you're in the cattle industry, now's the time to join and let your voice be heard loud and clear.
You need NCBA working for you, and NCBA needs you. It's easy to join. Just call, get online, or talk with your state affiliate and sign up today.
Welcome back. It's the best of junior livestock in California, and this year's Sale of Champions at the California State Fair was no exception. Let's take a look.
700, 27, 27, 27, 26, 27, 26, 27. She raises poultry and rabbits.
The State Fair is what I would consider the absolute gem of California's fairs. Our theme is Fun Never Grows Old, and as you can look around, you can see the excitement and what we can do for children, what we can do for adults, for our seniors, and every culture that we have here in the Sacramento area.
This would rank amongst the top 5-10 state fairs in the country in terms of competitiveness, and as strong as these livestock shows are here, this would be one of the premier livestock events in the country.
The State Fair began in 1854, and there's been an auction of some sort or other since that time. But really in 1980 it was established that we would recognize only the finest, and so we began the Sale of Champions at that point.
Now, turn your catalog line number 3, Kirby Schnorrs here, Chowchill FFA, Reserve Champion FFA Market Steer.
I started when I was 9 years old with the Grand Hog and the Reserve Grand Steer, and it was just a wonderful experience. All the help and support that's put towards it, and all the money that's put towards the kids and their projects, and it just really pays off in the end. All the hard work that we put towards our projects, it just is a great reward towards us. When you make the Sale of Champions, it's just a great accomplishment, and not very many people always get to feel that excitement and make it, so when they do, hopefully they don't take it for granted because it's a wonderful experience.
It's only my first year showing at this fair. I did good recently. I got Reserve Supreme Steer. It was fun having all my friends and family here, and I'm just glad that I was picked where I was.
A great livestock family as well.
It's an opportunity for young people to be able to show their animals and their hard work and allow the public to actually come here and support them.
I showed a market steer, and I was lucky enough to be awarded with the Grand Champion overall, and I just recently, like half hour ago, just got finished going through the Sale of Champions, selling my steer. I'd encourage other kids to get involved in any like FFA or 4-H event. I mean, there's more than just livestock, but I mean, it's a good experience that teaches you a lot of like hard work and dedication.
They do so much all through the year. They compete, they do all the things that are necessary all the way through the state of California, and this is their opportunity for everyone to be able to see what they've done and how we can support them and to make sure that this kind of thing continues for the future.
2700, 27.
This year's California Sale of Champions raised thousands of dollars for the kids who worked so hard to compete. You can get more information by heading to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is John Queen. I'm a cattle farmer from North Carolina, and I'm president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. I would like to personally invite you to the most important meeting of our cattle industry in the United States. Please join me February the 6th through the 9th in Reno, Nevada for the 2008 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and Trade Show. For more information, please visit our website at beefusa.org or call 1-800-525-3085.
Keeping your herd healthy means more than protecting your bottom line. It means having pride in what you do.
That's why Fort Dodge Animal Health has developed Pyramid 5 and Pyramid 10 with Metastem that provide broad BVD type 1 and 2 protection in combination with IBR, BRSV, and PI3 in Pyramid 5. Plus, protection against 5 strains of lepto with Pyramid 10. At Fort Dodge, we'll take care of protecting your herd so you'll have time for the really important things.
Thanks for joining us for this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Don't forget to check us out on the web at cattlementocattlemen.org. We'll be back with another edition next week at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on RFD TV.